So your game is an arcade game, but will it have anything for the simulation players?
It's all code at the end of the day. I would basically have to reroute my code in a way that instead of the health just going down from an accumulation, there has to be some kind of a generation, so a health regen system that goes into that. And just for me personally, I like a challenge. So yeah, I'll definitely get on that. Just right now, I want to focus on just getting out the initial vision, because I honestly never intended on there ever being a simulation mode. But as time went on, I did realize, like, people still probably want the simulation factor in there, especially since there hasn't been a boxing game out in over 10 years.
Yeah.
You really thought I was done?
Said I make you look easy. I make it look easy. I make it look easy. I make it look easy. Stop playing with me. I does this, boy. Yo.
So before we get into the meat of this devlog, I'd like to talk about some of the smaller updates that are going to be coming to BKSB in the upcoming patch 0.3. The last time we spoke, I introduced the new pawing mechanic that allows you to create defensive traffic and measure your range. This mechanic is now pressure sensitive, allowing you to be more precise with your hand placement as you gauge the distance of your opponent. I will also be adding many new camera view options that can be accessed in the camera settings tab. The first of those is the classic rotating camera that you all know and love from just about every boxing game prior to BKSB. This of course comes with its challenges, as the rotation needs smoothing. The biggest issue I'm having is that the center point of the camera gets offset whenever there's a shake from a counterpunch, but this camera shake can now be toggled off in the camera settings tab. Of course there's a lot more small things that I could tell you guys about today, but I mean, that's what patch notes are for, right? So let's go ahead and get into the juicy stuff, shall we? By popular demand, simulation boxing will be making its way to BKSB in patch 0.3. I've read through the comments, and I definitely agree that arcade boxing no longer does the game any justice as the leading game mode. The mechanics have far surpassed that of an arcade game, so I've decided to make a pivot to score bouts, while leaving those game modes as a fun alternative. On the surface level, it's just like any other boxing game you've ever played, but you know I had to add that Luvseat shawty spin to it. My goal here is to create the most immersive boxing experience you've ever had in a boxing game. The full vision that I have is going to take some time, but I'll run through the foundation for you guys today. The rest is all for your imagination until I have some more to show you. The Get Up minigame is a spin-off of the Focus Bits game, prompting you with random buttons to press to regain your faculties. There will be a progress penalty for incorrect inputs, and the reward for correct inputs will decrease with each knockdown. Here's that Luvseat shawty twist. When the opponent is knocked down, you have to manually walk away from him. The count does not start until you're far enough away. As the downed fighter, you can immediately attempt to regain your faculties. If you're quick about it, you can get a head start before the count starts. Here's that Luvseat shawty twist again. When the round ends, you have to manually walk back to your corner. Your roaming input does not activate immediately when the bell rings. You have to practice restraint, or you can risk losing a point or being disqualified for hitting after the bell. When you've made it back to your corner, you'll begin recovery based on how much time you have on the clock. So it would behoove you, I've always wanted to use that word, it would behoove you to get back in a timely fashion. This also gives you more time to play around with the sitting taunts. The round break sequence is not set in stone as of now, but it's a good starting point for early access. As you guys know already, progress always comes with challenges, so I'll give you a brief rundown of the things that are holding up patch 0.3. When approaching the corner, the sit down animation doesn't land on the stool unless you approach it at the perfect angle, and it won't trigger at all if you're already in the corner when the bell rings. When fighting against the AI, if you're knocked down at the end of the round, he will not return to his corner because he's too focused on getting to the neutral corner. When getting up, pivot inputs can interrupt the get up animation, and that's just ugly, man. But it should be an easy fix. The scoring system is pretty solid as it scores the round based on the winner of an odd number of categories. It gets a bit inaccurate when people start getting knocked down though. At the end of the fight, the UI is supposed to display the scorecard, progress to the punch stats, and finally the game over screen that takes you back to the main menu. For some reason, the punch stat screen gets skipped, but I guess it really don't matter because those numbers are usually off too. As much as I'd like to come out of the gate with this, the referee will not make it to patch 0.3 due to navigation issues. He keeps his distance pretty well, but eventually he'll do things like cut in between us or stop moving altogether. Lastly, I haven't finalized the new damage system. As of now, the damage system is the same except the damage zones have a small regenerative value. Once that zone is ruined, it's pretty much free knockdowns until you can't get up no more. These are the tasks that I'm faced with for at least the next couple of weeks, but I'm up for the challenge as usual. Not bad for a scammer, huh?